Hey everyone, Sycra here, and today I'm doing this suggestion from my friend Amelia, and she told me that it might be a good idea to create a mascot for my DeviantArt, because there are artists like ArtGerm who has Pepper, and like Toonbox Studio, he has Cherry, and they're these artists who have mascots, like a character that sort of is identifiable with their brand. And on top of that, she said it would give me a chance to like create a character that I really like. And then I would be drawing that a lot. And I thought, yeah, that's a cool idea. And so I did some sketches of characters, and I figured, okay, so I want to draw something that I like. Well, what do I like? I like drawing girls. Okay, so it's gonna be a girl. And she's gonna look something like she's gonna look what I think is good. It's gonna be to my personal taste, because I gotta like to draw her. So it's like, okay, I'm not gonna draw a girl that I don't like to draw. So there's that. And then I did some sketches in a sketchbook, and then I was thinking, okay, so what is this character? Well, I wanted her to have a lot of freedom, so it's like, oh, yeah, maybe something fantasy-based, sci-fi-based. And then I remembered a drawing I had done a while back on DeviantArt, and it was this character that it was like a space waitress. And I thought of that. Yeah, space waitress. That sounds kind of good. That would be a good character. It's very vague and allows for a lot of interesting things, because like, well, what is that? What is a space waitress? And so I needed a name, so I settled on KEI as a name for this space waitress, and I created a logo as well, because, you know, branding. And so you can see the character of K has these triangles underneath her eyes, and that's because I like pointy things and triangles are my shape. So I thought, oh, let's put triangles on her, and let's mirror that in the logo. So you can see in the letter A of the logo, there's little triangles. And then when I was doing this, I thought, yeah, well, this might be good to actually record and make a video series of how I go about designing a character, because that way you could see, you know, what steps I go in. Like, for instance, right now, I'm doing this step in red where I drew like a side view, a front view, and a 3/4 view. And I have these ruler markers in Photoshop, and I'm just trying to make sure everything lines up. As I said, I already did a sketch of this character, so I have a general idea, not like a very specific idea of what this character is. And I also don't have any notion of this character has to look like the sketch. No, it's very open. It's just, I want a character that I would have fun drawing a lot. So the other thing about this idea of mascots that was just very interesting to me is you really get to figure out what it is you like, right? Like, what is fun for you to draw, and then put that down. And I think it reveals a lot about an artist, about what their tastes are. And because it's something the artist likes, chances are there's going to be more passion in it than just some work they're doing for somebody else. So I thought that's cool. Like, just the idea of it. Create something that you can keep working on and really demonstrates what your personal tastes are. And what I'm doing now is, you'll see me do this quite a bit, where I flip the image, and I also use these vertical measurements, because what I've seen, well, first of all, I'm using an Intuos Pro Large, and the reason is, as you may know, my Cintiq 22 HD ran into some problems, and I had to send it to be repaired. And they found the video board was faulty, but that the tablet was out of warranty, and the repair costs were very high, and so I couldn't afford them right away. And so in the meantime, it's like, well, I need something. And so I purchased an Intuos Pro large tablet, and it's pretty large. That's what I'd say. And because I'm not drawing directly on the screen of my Cintiq, I'm using my other monitor, which happens to be an LG ultra-wide monitor. So that's why you'll see the screen is really stretched horizontally, because it's very wide. And it's hard. Like, I guess I got pretty good at using a tablet when I was just using my Intuos 3 or Intuos 4 tablets. And then going back from a Cintiq to a tablet, it's okay. I mean, I still can draw, but I'm noticing a lot of problems with things being misaligned. Like my bias is showing up again. And what that is when you draw, if you're left-handed, you have a left-hand bias. If you're right-handed, you have a right-hand bias. And it's that, when you handwrite, usually your lines are skewed at a certain angle. And often when you draw, that reappears. And the way of checking that is by flipping the image. Traditionally, you would hold your paper up to a mirror, or some people even just put it against the window. And if it's bright outside, you'll be able to, see a flipped view of the image. But yeah, I'm noticing my things are way off. I was also super tired when I was doing this. So I was thinking of scrapping it, like not even keeping this one and just getting better with the tablet and then, doing it. But I thought, well, this is supposed to be more of a honest exploration or an honest view of me exploring character design in a way, how I would approach something. So I thought, okay, let's leave it, even though I'm struggling with it, even though it's not the best way to draw. Because really, I'm not thinking about structure too much here, and I should be. That's what I would tell myself if I was critiquing myself. I'd say, you didn't really create your planes and the planes of the face and stuff like that. They're okay. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not great either. And also, you can see even now, I keep rotating things and correcting them. And even though I have these lines, the ruler lines from Photoshop, it seems like everything still keeps getting out of whack. And I'm just going to brute force my way through it. I'm just going to keep drawing and drawing until it looks right. And I guess that's not the smartest way about going about it, but it's like, sometimes you can't really think and you just got to do what you got to do. And so I mentioned before I was doing the red lines and they were very rough. Now you'll notice the lines are black. And that's because I go through usually 3, maybe 4, but usually 3 stages in a drawing. First, I will draw very rough, and depending on what it is, it's more about either the composition, or if it's character design, it's about shapes and stuff. Like, is the shape of the head appealing? Is that a nice shape? Is it something iconic? Would you recognize this person? And right now what I'm doing with the head is, it looks like she has a shaved head. That's not necessarily what it will end up being. But what I do is I like to start with just a shaved head, so I get the hairline, like where the hairline would go, and I get the shape of the head without hair, because hair is going to go on top of that. So I always like to work on the structure underneath. So the first thing is, if it's a scene, then it's a composition, and just get shapes down that look good, that tell the story. If it's a character, get the character's feel right. And then the next step is, so stage 2 would be, and in the first stage, I'm not worried about making this clean. I'm not worried about it pretty. I'm not worried about it being large. Like, I don't want the canvas too big because I don't want any lag. And then the second stage is really, correct things, correct the anatomy, correct the perspective, fix the proportions. And this third stage is what I'm doing right now, which is shrinking the brush and doing a more finished drawing. And it's not very good because I'm still, not really used to this tablet. But I will get used to it over time, so I'm not like really panicking or anything. But yeah, this is the third step. And sometimes this is I'll do another step of this, like a fourth step, where usually it's where I notice I didn't detail something as much, or there needs to be more work done. Usually it's just detail work, maybe I'll draw a person and find it's all clean, but then they might need an earring design or something. And it's like, okay, so then I go back to the rough and I roughen the earring and then fix the perspective and then I do the cleanup again. So yeah, it's usually 3, maybe 4 layers whenever I draw a character. And I think the beauty of this is that you're making it easy for your brain to juggle these balls. I've talked about juggling balls a lot. And so I think of it like, well, I have to draw a character. I need to focus on the anatomy, the gesture, how appealing this is, so the design itself, the proportions, the perspective. And so doing all that at once is really difficult. And it's much easier to focus on one thing at a time. So first, just focus on the design, focus on getting appealing shapes. Secondly, fine, okay, now fix the anatomy, make sure the perspective is right, make sure everything is working. And then finally, okay, go into more of a cleanup. And you'll see with this one, because it is a design, it's not supposed to be a finished illustration that I'm going to show anybody, although I'm showing you, but this is more like a, behind the scenes thing. Because of that, I'm a bit more loose than I might be with the third stage. It doesn't, and I'm fixing stuff more. Maybe if this was for a client and I had to submit it and it had to be really clean, maybe I would do a 4th stage above this to just, polish everything right at the end, get the design completely working. And I'm also making sure things all line up, like the eyes, they need to line up, the mouth needs to line up. And sometimes what you may notice is that you'll do a front view and a side view, and the mouth looks fine in the front view, the mouth looks fine in the side view, but actually they don't line up together correctly. And this happens to me a lot anyway, either the mouth or the eyes or something's usually slightly off. So it's really important to get it so things are working. And sometimes I'll prefer the way the mouth looks in the side view, and I'll do the same to the front view so that the front view matches the side view, but that doesn't actually look that good. And then maybe the option is to switch it so the side view matches the front view, even though I thought the side view looked fine. But when it's a case of all the views have to look good, then sometimes you have to maybe not pick your top pick, but maybe your second pick for where you want these. Or you could like move, if the front view is too low and the side view is too high, you could move one a bit down and one a bit up. And here what I'm doing is I just opened the timeline to create a small animation of this head spinning. It's not, this is super quick and dirty. It's just to see, like, fine, does this work at all? And now, finally, what I'm doing is I'm just going to copy and paste the heads a bunch of times. And the reason for this is the next video, which is going to be how to draw hair, or not how to draw hair, but how I'm going to draw the hair of this character. And so I need a lot of heads to put hair on. So I don't know. I hope you stay tuned for that. And I hope this is helping. And thanks for watching.